Chrysler LeBaron GTS Turbo. In 1985, Chrysler decided to shake things up and add some spice to its LeBaron lineup, giving birth to the LeBaron GTS Turbo. Based on the in a very American accent. Under the hood, Chrysler stuffed a 2.2-liter turbocharged inline-4, cranking out a lively 146 horsepower and 168 torque, enough muscle to shove this surprisingly light sedan to 60 miles per hour in around 8 seconds. The GTS in its name stood for Grand Touring Sedan, which was Chrysler's way of saying, yeah, we're fancy now. Interior options were wildly 80s too, with features like digital dashboards and futuristic electronic voice alert systems that calmly nagged you if you left your door open. Pontiac 6000 STE. Introduced in 1983 but hitting its stride by 1985, the 6000 STE was GM's attempt to go head-to-head with the increasingly popular European sports sedans. It was built on GM's A-body platform but jazzed up with all the bells and whistles. Fully independent suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, and sport-tuned everything. Under the hood, you've got a lively 2.8-liter V6, pumping out 130 horsepower. Paired with either a 3-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual, the 6000 STE could scoot from 0 to 60 in around 10 seconds. Not earth-shattering, but hey, your dad could dust off a few sluggish muscle cars from the gas crisis era at a stoplight if he timed it right. Pontiac didn't just stop at performance either. They loaded the STE with high-tech goodies like a digital dashboard, trip computer, and even an early version of a vehicle message center. Car and Driver actually named the 6000 STE one of their 10 best cars from 1983 to 1985. Proof that Pontiac was really onto something. Ford LTD LX. In 1984, Ford pulled a fast one on the sleepy midsize sedan market by unleashing the LTD LX, a car way of saying, yeah, we still know how to have fun. Under the hood sat a 5.0-liter high-output V8, good for about 165 horsepower and 245 torque. Most came with a 4-speed automatic, but they were tuned for performance. Shorter gears, tighter shifts, and a suspension setup beefed up with stiffer springs, thicker sway bars, and quicker steering. In fact, Car and Driver clocked the LTD LX at 0 to 60 in around 8.4 seconds, which was fast enough to embarrass a lot of so-called sports cars from the era. Fun fact, Ford engineers originally pitched the LTD LX as a 4-door Mustang, and they weren't joking. If you squinted just right and maybe had a beer or two, you could almost see it. Chevy Celebrity Eurosport VR. In 1986, Chevrolet decided that what America really needed was a mid-size sedan with some serious European flair, and thus the Celebrity Eurosport VR was born. Based on the standard A-body Celebrity, they feel hard and said, yeah, let's try that, but make it front-wheel drive. Under the hood, buyers got a 2.8-liter V6 making 125 horsepower, helping the Eurosport VR hustle from 0 to 60 in 9 seconds. Fun fact, the VR was technically a dealer-installed package, not a factory option, meaning many details could vary depending on how enthusiastic your local Chevy dealer was feeling. This also makes surviving examples rare today, and spotting a real-deal Eurosport VR at a car show is like finding a unicorn wearing a members-only jacket. Dodge Shelby Lancer. Based on the humble Dodge Lancer, the Shelby Lancer wasn't just some trim and tape job. Oh no, Shelby went full mad scientist, tweaking the suspension, adding performance brakes, and boosting the turbocharged 2.2-liter inline. It meant the Shelby Lancer could sprint from 0 to 60 in just 7.2 seconds, quick enough to hang with Mustangs and Camaros while hauling your briefcase in the back seat. Buyers could pick between a 5-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic, but real enthusiasts know the manual is where the magic happened. Automotive, a premium infinity stereo, and enough badging to make sure no one mistook it for a regular Lancer. Fun fact, only 800 Shelby Lancers were built in 1987, 400 manuals and 400 automatics, making it rarer than many Ferraris of the era. Chevrolet Nova Twin Cam. In 1988, Chevrolet decided to get a little sneaky and tap into notion. See, this Nova was actually a rebadged Toyota Corolla Sprinter, built through a joint venture between GM and Toyota called New United Motor Manufacturing. Powering this pint-sized performer was a 1.6-liter 4AGE inline-4, the same engine that powered the legendary AE86 Corolla GTS. It pumped out 110 horsepower. Mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, it could scoot from 0 to 60 in 9.5 seconds. Not bad for something that looked like your grandma's grocery getter from a distance. Fun fact, despite being one of the coolest 80s Novas, the twin cam was a slow seller, mostly because no one shopping for a Nova expected to find a shrieking twin cam screamer. Dodge Spirit ES. The Spirit itself was a straightforward, no-nonsense four-door built on Chrysler's AA body platform, but the ES version added a little spice to the recipe. Under the hood, buyers had a few options, but horsepower and a pretty snappy 0 to 60 time of around 8.5 seconds. A 5-speed manual transmission was offered too, making the Spirit ES a surprising little sports sedan if you ordered it right. Visually, it played it cool. Subtle badging, sportier wheels, body-colored trim, and just khakis. Ford Taurus SHO. It's the late 80s, big hair is in, and Ford drops this unassuming-looking sedan that secretly packs a punch. On the outside, it looked like your average grocery-hauling, kid-toting Taurus, but under the hood lurked a real monster. A Yamaha-built 3-liter DOHC V6 that Crancho could rip from 0 to 60 in just 7 seconds, shocking everything from BMWs to muscle cars that underestimated the humble blue oval badge. Inside, the SHO featured sporty seats, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and just enough badging to let you know it wasn't your mom's Taurus. Fun fact, the show's engine was originally intended for a mid-engine sports car project that never happened, meaning Ford essentially stuffed a high-revving race-bred motor into a family sedan.